Welcome into DC On Screen, episode 406. This is your weekly, or sometimes weekly, DCTV news. Most of the time, weekly DCTV news. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
So, as a reminder, we're going to be doing this a couple times every once in a while, probably, maybe every week, I don't know. But as a reminder, you can now leave us a voicemail for us to play. Call 205-259-6331. That is 205-259-6331. There is no reason for you not to, really. We will play your voicemail and we will respond to it, and we'll have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, I left this news for the TV side of things, because let's face it, he spent more time on television as the character than he ever did in movies, even though he was technically he was the Batman in the first movie.
Yeah.
But very, very sad news. I don't even know what to do with this. I've been bummed out for the better part of a week, or, 3 days, since it happened.
All right.
Adam West passed away at 88 years old after a very, very short battle with leukemia. I don't know what to do with this news. We've lost a Batman, and I've cracked jokes about the guy. I mean, one need only go over to our, DC Films That Never Happened Part 3. We crack a lot of jokes on Adam West, because, quite frankly, he had some pretty crazy ideas for a Batman movie.
Yeah.
And they're hilarious, and, who knows? This guy was like Bob Dylan. You never knew if he was being serious or not. I was taken to go see, for my 6th birthday, I was taken to go see the Tim Burton Batman with Michael Keaton. And, I was a peculiar kid. I was weird. After seeing that, I wanted to see what the first iteration of Batman was, because for a long time, I got into my head that the first version of a thing is always the best. So I went on this journey, but I was craving Batman. I wanted more, and obviously we weren't going to get any more of that until 92. And, I obviously didn't know that, but what was there for me, because there wasn't an animated series at that point, was the Adam West Bill Dozier Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I swear some of these characters I had never heard of before, but I knew them almost through osmosis, like the Riddler and the Joker and the Penguin,
They make themselves very known on that show.
Yeah. But Adam West was so sincere in the way he played Batman. Like, he played it straight. And, as I got older, I always knew the show was somewhat tongue-in-cheek. I knew that it was camp. That it was supposed to be a certain way. A lot of people were like, oh, that's old and that's cheesy. But, I knew the difference. I'd seen older stuff before. And I was like, I think that was supposed to be funny. And, but Adam West was Batman. He just was. And, as I got older and I realized that he was maybe not so happy with the role, or that the role had put him in a position. And look, I'm a Star Trek fan. This is common, like Leonard Nimoy wrote a book called I Am Not Spock.
Yeah.
These roles, these iconic roles haunt you.
Yeah.
But that made it even more sweet that in later years, Adam West accepted who he was and wound up actually, because of that, getting a lot more roles than he would have, by embracing his role as Batman and being able to poke fun at himself. But to be fair, Adam West was a fantastic actor. Number one, you can't be on that show, on Batman, and put in that sincere of a dramatic performance amongst all of that ridiculousness.
It was a circus.
It was a circus.
And he keeps, the only time he smiles is when it's in the script to smile. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine somebody like Jimmy Fallon trying to do that.
Watch this guy. Go and look up the video of Adam West as Batman in a tracksuit talking to Jerry the King Lawler, who's decked out in a Superman outfit. This man does not break character. This man, as Batman, tells Jerry Lawler that he could be a good citizen if he changed his habits and learned to use his turn signals. A
true professional.
Not to mention the fabulous work he did on Family Guy. And he's done a ton of, dramatic roles over the years.
Oh, and to say he pokes fun at himself. Oh
my gosh!
That one of my favorite commentary. I've heard some of the commentary tracks especially the early Family Guy stuff. But there's a bit where you see the mayor show up in court, and he's got his right hand is dressed like a bride, and. They're doing vows, and apparently Adam West read the script and said to McFarlane, "So am I marrying my hen because of things I do to my hand?" And Seth kind of went, "Yes, Mr. West, that's what's happening." Well, all right then. Moved on, moved right along with the scene. McFarlane described him as a very game guy.
Yeah. My favorite Family Guy, Adam West Family Guy bit. Is he tells Meg, I think it was Meg, to watch his pizza because the Noid was going to come around. Yeah. I mean, this is like a 25-year-old reference to the Domino's Noid. And sure enough, the Noid shows up, and Adam West comes in and beats the shit out of him, kills him. There's the Noid is a bloody mess on the floor. And as straight as I've ever heard anyone ever read a line, says, "Perhaps the Noid should have avoided me."
Well done.
But yeah, Adam West, man.
He was definitely my first. I mean, I hadn't seen Michael Keaton's for a while. I just remember watching reruns of the 66 series and just being on the edge of my seat because when I was watching, I forget how old I was, but I was still too young to know there was something. It was funny every now and then, but I didn't know how much it was making fun of itself. Mm-hmm. So to me, it was just like this. It was because of how straight he delivered on the lines. I was like, this guy's cool. I like his gadgets. He's always calm under pressure.
Yeah.
Always figures out what's going on. Even though when I watched it again, I'm like, Robin always figures out what's going on. Not
Yeah, why does Robin always figure it out?
It was funny, Robin figures out the riddles, and then Batman figures out how to get out of traps. That's what I ended up seeing when I watched it again.
Well, what's fun is, there's a lot of it where, Robin will figure it out, and he'll be like, this is gonna happen. And Batman will be like, correct, old chum. And I'm like, why didn't you say that? That would have saved some lives, Batman. You're waiting for Robin to figure it out, just as a lesson to Robin.
Always the mentor.
That Adam West, man. If you don't believe that he can do solid drama within the DC realm, dude, go watch Beware the Grey Ghost. A role he plays Simon Trent, a former an actor who played a superhero called the Grey Ghost that inspired Bruce when he was young. And now he's sort of he's a has-been actor. The role of the Grey Ghost ruined him. No one wants to touch him. Dude, just to have the balls to agree to play that part, knowing that is what happened in his real life, is remarkable. But the way he plays the role in Batman the Animated Series,
pretty painfully honest,
phenomenal. I can barely talk about it without crying, honestly.
Yeah, if you went on too long, I don't think you'd.
Yeah, once you get into
pull your way out.
Kevin Conroy, Batman taking him to the cave and showing him the Grey Ghost cave.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But Adam West was underrated as an actor. Should have had more success than he did in his life. I think he's probably more known nowadays than he ever thought he would be.
Yeah. I mean, he was one of the most famous people in the world when the show was running. So for about 3 good years there, he was on top of the world, and then he just vanished. And then there's this resurgence in 2000 until now.
Yeah. And
maybe even the late 90s.
My thoughts and prayers are with his family. And, it's a rough thing to go through. And I don't want to be gross with my wonderment and my curiosity over whether they filmed or they actually recorded that sequel to the 66 Batman with William Shatner as Two-Face.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. I haven't seen any news reports about that, so I don't know. I hope he got to do that.
Yeah, you hope that surfaces
because
somewhere.
I was excited about that.
Yeah,
I was excited about that, and I loved his portrayal of Batman once again in the 66 animated feature that came out last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a lot of fun too.
I would love one more ride with Adam West before we call curtains on it. But,
they were planning on doing more of those 66 features too.
Yeah. Anyway, importantly, Adam West taught me that you can be cool and be funny.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there he is in a Batman costume, which at the age of 6 didn't make a damn difference whether you were in full body rubber or if you were in blue and gray spandex suit.
Something you could have slept in.
You were Batman.
Yeah.
So yeah. Favorite Adam West lines? Poor deluded child.
Oh, that's just always going to be up there.
And I don't want to talk about it, Robin. It depresses me. Anyway, moving on. CW has released their fall premiere dates. Supergirl will premiere Monday, October 9th. That's season 3, y'all. Flash season 4 premieres Tuesday, October 10th, followed by Legends of Tomorrow. I almost tried to correct myself and say DC's Legends of Tomorrow. I don't know why they still say DC's Legends.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure why they just haven't shortened it to Legends.
Yeah, Legends comes on the same night. Arrow is going to be Thursday, October 12th.
Now pay attention to that small change if you hadn't caught it before. Thursday.
Mm-hmm. That is a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
And all of CW's most recent seasons are available on Netflix now if you need to catch up, and that's going to be a major coup for Netflix. It's going to be huge for them.
Oh, I think they're going to get a lot of stuff out of that.
Yeah. The Gotham Season 4 premiere title has been released. John Stevens tweeted it. 401 is going to be called Pax Penguina.
Yeah.
Pax usually means peace or kiss of peace. So that's what we know about that. Gotham Season 3 DVD Details and Blu-ray. Remember, we're in 2017. Mm-hmm. And to that, Brent of the DCTV Squadcast is going, yeah, we're in 2017. Why are you talking about DVDs and Blu-rays? We're talking about streaming now.
Yeah. I'm getting my digital HD copy. I'll be fine.
That's still my favorite thing that Brent's ever said to me. Ew, physical media. Anyway, release is August 29th. Bonus features Gotham 2016 Comic-Con panel, Madness Rising, the new villains of Gotham, The Dark Within the Dark, The Court of Owls, Ben McKenzie, directorial debut, and deleted scenes. Sounds good to me. It'll be on my shelf.
Especially Ben McKenzie. A little background on him getting to watch him be a rookie might be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and for anybody who goes like, you guys are always pretty wishy-washy on Gotham, why would you put that on your shelf, Dave? I buy everything DC.
Mm-hmm. Pure compulsion, and we're wishy-washy because the show is wishy-washy.
Yeah. I have a sickness.
Yeah. Cost him a lot of Amazon Prime.
Yep. Anyway, Ben McKenzie has teased Scarecrow in season 4. He says in a DC Entertainment YouTube interview, there are some villains that I'm a big fan of that are in season 4. I've always been keen on the Scarecrow. It would be nice if the Scarecrow showed up. He said, he says, it would be nice.
I mean,
I don't know if that means that he knows that something's going to happen.
That, but if you go back and look at it, he's got this weird look between those two sentences, like he knows something, and then the "it would be nice" would be kind of him going like, yeah. You just get the sense that he maybe knows something.
It's like the little DC meme that you see of Barry Allen. This like keeps showing doing more and more close-ups of his face. He's like, sure is a nice timeline you've got there. Would be a shame if somebody wrecked it.
A little bit like that, yeah. So I'm hoping there's something to it because I miss that storyline. I think you could do a lot with it.
Yeah. Tricia Helfer has confirmed a season 3 return on Lucifer. She says, I'll be there for season 3. Mom may be gone, but Charlotte Richards is breathing again. That might be interesting.
I don't know exactly how they're going to make it interesting, but if they do, I'll be very proud.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I thought about it for a while when I saw that, and I got nothing.
Yeah, I have nothing per se, but I don't hate Tricia Helfer.
No.
By the way, I read a story where she said the weirdest thing anyone's ever sent her is a fan sent her sperm.
Oh, my.
So that's the thing that happened.
That is weird.
That's what happens when you're a sex symbol.
I guess.
I heard that phrase. I heard that term when I was a kid, and I became obsessed with it. My parents hated it because I just thought everything was a sex symbol. I'm like, is it a sex symbol? And they're like, don't stop saying that. I was like 3, and I heard someone refer to someone else as a sex symbol. I had no idea what it meant. It was amazing.
Your mom's like, oh, crap, the muffin's burned. You're like, that's what happens when you're a sex symbol. The cable's out. That's what happened.
No, it was more along the lines of, I knew a sex symbol was a person.
Ah, okay.
You know, so like we'd be watching TV and I'd be like, Mom, is Mr. Rogers a sex symbol? And she's like, stop saying sex symbol. Just, you don't even need to know what that means.
Trust me, when the time is right, you'll suddenly understand what that means. Until then, just put it down.
So the the Supergirl Season 2 DVD/Blu-ray details release is going to be August 22nd. Bonus features include Supergirl 2016 Comic-Con panel, the Supergirl Alien Fight Night featurette, Aliens Among Us, a conversation with Andrew Kreisberg and Kevin Smith, Supergirl Lives audio commentary featuring Andrew Kreisberg and Kevin Smith, and Did You Know? Facts for Fans. My guess is I probably didn't know.
They'll find a few.
Whatever it is.
If they scour.
Yeah. Floriana Lima was talking about her reduced role on Season 3 because she's not going to be a series regular. She says, the Sanvers fans are beautiful. The best part of playing Maggie is getting to share an inspiring love story and representing the LGBTQ plus community. While this role was only meant for one season, I'm excited to appear in Season 3 as we see the Supergirl story unfold. Hashtag Sanvers, hashtag not over yet.
I saw so many stories of people just going, it's over. They're going to break up Alex and Maggie. Why? She wouldn't even be a part-time person, but we're going to break them up. They're just not going to use her as much.
Oh, Season 3, Alex is going to be a straight woman now.
No.
That'd be alright.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but it's not likely. Put your money on you're just not going to see as many storylines that involve her. But that every now and then she'll mention that her and Maggie are doing fine.
Yeah. Or, she'll be like, I'm going to have a hard time tracking down this alien here with that barbecue from when me and Maggie were having that barbecue.
Oh, no, I'll bet $1, my usual bet.
That will never happen.
That, that at some point they need information from localized source information like they normally got from Maggie, but it'll just be Alex walking into the DEO and coming up behind Wynn and putting her arm on the chair and saying, all right, so I got from Maggie, without us ever saying it.
That'll happen. Yeah. That will definitely happen.
That's what Maggie told me.
Like, we could have really used Maggie for this. Too bad she's in Italy.
Yeah.
Eating pasta.
Like the FBI is going to go train her, give her special training or something. We'll see her. Like, if they don't break her up, you'll at least see her again long enough to see them planning a wedding and maybe like a wedding at the end of the season.
Yeah. So Supergirl has casted Rain for Season 3, the big Supergirl villain that I predicted from their very on-the-nose reference in the finale.
Yeah.
Trust me, I did nothing special.
Yeah.
Odette Annabelle, or Anabel, whatever.
I don't know. I couldn't.
But I predicted a thing. Just remember that.
You got one.
I got one.
If you can never take that away from him. He got the one.
She's from Pure Genius. She's been cast as Rain, leader of the World Killers for Season 3. Andrew Kreisberg says, Greg and I, that's Greg Berlanti in case you didn't know, have wanted to work with Odette for years. We are beyond excited to have her join our cast in the scary, powerful, and heartbreaking role of Rain. Oh, Kreisberg talks about this stuff way better than they ever execute it.
I mean, yeah, you want scary, heartbreaking, and powerful now, right?
Yeah, the way he describes stuff, I'm like, oh, that's the show
Sounds
I want.
Good.
And then the show happens, and I'm like,
could have used some tweaks.
And then Kreisberg was like, we're always so proud of this. Like, we think we accomplished this, and I'm like, No.
85%.
But, you know, I have hope. Arrow Season 5 did a really great job, so, and most of Flash does a really great job. So, you know, fingers crossed. I feel like that gives us at least 50-50.
Yeah. I mean, these, they're still mostly good shows. There's just a lot to chat about.
Mm-hmm. Over to the Flash Season 3 Blu-ray release date. What's funny is you wrote down DVD for everything but the Flash.
Nice.
You wrote Blu-ray on Flash.
That must have been the first or the last one I did.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's impossible to tell.
It's impossible to tell. Anyway, Flash Season 3 Blu-ray has been given a release date September 5th. It's going to include the Flash 2016 Comic-Con panel, A Flash in Time Travel in the Flash Universe, Villain School, The Flash Rogues, Allied, The Invasion Complex, Rise of Gorilla City, The Flash, I'm Your Super Friend, which I'm assuming is going to be in reference to the musical.
Or they might have just left the video in there.
Yeah. The Flash hitting the fast note, Harmony in a Flash, Synchronicity in a Flash, A Conversation with Andrew Kreisberg and Kevin Smith, Deleted Scenes, and Gag Reel. By the way, those conversations with Andrew Kreisberg and Kevin Smith, if Fat Man on Batman is any indication, are delightful.
Yeah, they had a great time on the on his interview, so the commentary's got to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So the Season 4 Baddie on The Flash is official. It's going to be Clifford Defoe, a.k.a. The Thinker. He was name-dropped several times during Season 3, so it's not exactly a, surprise. Yeah. Kreisberg talked a little bit about the VFX budgets. He says, now this comes from commentary on the upcoming DVD release. He says, the visual effects budget of Arrow is literally 1/10 of Supergirl and The Flash. It's a lot of stunt work. It's all practical by design. Kevin Smith. He would love that name. He should change his name. Yeah. I'm talking to you, Kevin Smith. Kevin Smooth. Kevin Smith, who is on the same commentary track, justified the gap. He says Arrow seems of a different feather than Supergirl and The Flash, not the least of which is like they've got superpowers, and this guy just has a bow and arrow, which is completely fair. And when you look at Arrow's lower ratings for the than Flash and Supergirl getting, you go, how is Arrow sticking around? That's why.
Yeah.
They just told you, Rye.
They just explained.
It's literally 1/10.
Because they're probably making more money per episode than the other two. Can't you see the Arrow execs going up to some of the CW execs going, we need more money. I mean, we got to get some more effects money. And they're just like, I'm sorry, what are Arrow's superpowers again? Oh, screw you, man.
Yeah. So over to Legends news. Zari, Adrianna, Tomaz has been cast for Legends Season 3. Her official character description: Zari lives in a world of contradictions. Technology has brought about incredible change in her future. Too bad human nature hasn't kept pace. Fear, prejudice, and a lack of care for the planet have forced Zari to become a gray hat hacktivist. Now, fans are wondering if her story will include her transition to the mystical Isis and maybe an appearance by Black Adam. If it does, I very much doubt they'll be using the name Isis.
Yeah, right. Take it back.
So, yeah. That's kind of interesting. Just by what they're saying as far as their description of her with the fear, prejudice, and the lack of care for the planet, they're not even abstaining from being heavy-handed in the description of this character. So I'm a little on the fence about the approach already.
Yeah, I have no idea what. I think we're just going to get a name check here.
Yeah, I don't know. This feels like I feel like, and you've heard me say this before, these shows are in a large degree escapism for me. I don't necessarily want, after-school specials for those of you who remember what after-school specials are.
Yeah.
But, whatever. Hopefully they do something interesting with it. Caity Lotz talks about Season 3 of Legends. She says, I don't know much about season 3. Little bit of some talks about love interests for Sarah, and that it's going to be even crazier than it was last season. That's not really telling us a whole lot. I don't know if crazier is good. Some of the crazy stuff was not good on season 2 and 1.
I mean, the setup is like dinosaurs in a futuristic city, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's setting the bar for crazy pretty high. And
as far as little bits of some talks about love interests, so far the show, that only makes me think that the show has more females from history who are going to turn out to be into Sarah.
Yeah. I mean, I audibly sighed when I read that.
Yeah. Sarah Lance really is female Captain Kirk on this show.
No, she's times Captain Kirk.
Yeah. She just gets down with everybody in the past.
I think she's got like maybe a checklist of every century she wants to hit.
Yeah. So anyway, over to Arrow. Season 6 apparently will include flashbacks. Mark Guggenheim, after saying that he too was glad to be rid of the flashbacks. Stephen Amell said he was glad of being rid of the flashbacks and rid of the wigs.
Yeah.
Guggenheim said he's glad to be rid of the flashbacks, but said at the same time, I will tell you that the season premiere of season 6 will have a flashback to the island. If you take me literally in my word, yes, back to the island. He elaborates, last year, when we sort of realized we were going to go past season 5, they only realized last year that they were going to get past season, okay. Anyway.
You take it year to year.
Apparently. We basically made a collective decision that season 5 would be the final year of flashbacks. Next year in season 6, what we'll end up doing is we'll do some episodes without any sort of flashbacks. We've also established over the first 4 seasons of proof of concept that we can do flashback stories that don't involve what I call the island narrative, even when it's not on the island. So that makes sense. I'd love to see flashbacks of other people from time to time.
Look, flashbacks are a perfectly good form of storytelling.
Yeah,
and
I have no issue with it.
They've been such a substantial part of this show that's why we're focusing on them. That's why it's even news that they're going back and that he said they weren't and they were happy and technically they have to do a flashback on the first episode because the bomb has already gone off in real time, and we have to know what happened before. So I'd hate it. I actually would crack me up if that's all he meant at this point.
Yeah. After prompting from a fan on Twitter, Manu Bennett said, everyone who wants a Deathstroke original series needs to rally and let DC Comics, Warner Brothers, Netflix, and CW's superhero series producer Greg Berlanti and writer-producer Mark Guggenheim know. And a lot of people have been, people who write for these news websites have been saying that we need a Deathstroke spinoff. Manu Bennett says he wants to do one. A lot of fans want to see it. I personally don't. But here's why.
I don't know if there's enough there for me.
Yeah. Dan Wickline over at bleedingcool.com, he has a really cool idea. Now, granted, I think it's a cool idea because I had the idea a long time ago and talked about it on this podcast.
So you're already a little partial to it.
Maybe you've heard of it. It's called DC on Screen. You're listening to it right now. But
if it's just on autoplay, hey, welcome.
Hi. But Dan Wickline, and kudos, dude, because I know you haven't listened to me. He has this cool idea. Brave and the Bold. They do an anthology series. Multi-episode arcs, like 2 or 3 episode arcs. That way, we get all these people that the fans want to see, have been clamoring to see. Deathstroke, Constantine, Huntress, Question, Blue Beetle, and anyone else we want. And, they can air it when the other shows are off. Or, not that he says this, but I feel this way. Cancel Legends of Tomorrow and make The Brave and the Bold. Because Brave and the Bold really is what Legends of Tomorrow should be.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, The Brave and the Bold, Legends of Tomorrow promised in its concept that we would be able to go and, visit Sergeant Rock, go back and check out the Justice Society, and we'd be able to go back and do all these things. And while we have been able to do some of those things, we're still stuck with this, shitty modern day storyline that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. with the Legends. Like, I don't give a shit about the Legends most of the time.
Yeah.
Do the Brave and the Bold, and, while I like a lot, and by the way, you can, with Brave and the Bold, you can actually bring in the Atom, you can bring in White Canary, or Mick Rory, or Snart, or any of these characters from Legends of Tomorrow, and have them in, like, small doses, while also servicing the fans who want people like Deathstroke and, Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, and anybody else that the DC canon has to offer.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a really cool idea. And smarter than what they may have thought of over on the CW. Anyway.
They could still tweak Legends if they did a little bit of what they're kind of doing with Gotham, where it's like, some characters have like this 3-story arc, and then they kind of move on to another character. If it was, it wouldn't even be a revolving door. Like, give them a 3-story arc. Have like 5 characters you get introduced to all season. So say you've got 17 episodes, you got 3 times 5 on your story arcs, and then like 2 episodes to play with the crossover. And you can still like go meet, like you said, like go meet Scott Free or something for 3 episodes and play with that whole thing. And if you do this well, you can time the character development of the Legends themselves while you do it. And it doesn't have to be all Monster of the Weeky, where like this one week we learn this giant lesson. Ray suddenly understands this,
But then you also open it up because you've created these characters and you've had you've introduced these characters over there. You can bring them into any show that you need them in. Flash, Supergirl, whatever. Yeah. Hell, you can even start off an episode and be like Earth 38 in like the little lower left-hand corner, like Earth 38 or whatever. Yeah. And you could do multiple. You could have Batman Gaslight, Gotham by Gaslight, for God's sake. Yeah. You could do that. You could.
I mean, I would still like it to be
possibilities are endless.
I would still like it to be a serialized story more than that would end up being, I think.
Well, you could throw in little hints and stuff, like have a couple of arcs that don't really tie in as much, but sort of like you remember how Doctor Who had the Bad Wolf thing just in the background.
Yeah, and then there's a big payoff.
There's a big payoff at the end, like a multiverse payoff.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to scour frames of it. I'm going to put it this way, like Legends by itself and possibly even Brave and the Bold as it's being proposed on CW may not be able to carry something as thorough as Bad Wolf. And it just may be that CW doesn't have that in them because the audience is so young, they need something week to week. So I think it just may be like, swinging for the fences and not.
I don't underestimate these youngins. They're quicker on the draw than we give them credit for. They really are. They're better at it than we are.
It's not even that I underestimate them or you do. It's that they do. And as long as that's the case, you still got to play by those rules.
Yeah.
But,
maybe.
I haven't really mentioned this before. I only thought about it very recently. But something I wish they would start doing on Legends is employ a system where you could ask, hey, where's Ray this week? Oh, we got a message from Oliver. They need him over there. And, sure enough, that week he was, I guess in this case, 2 days later, you see him over in Arrow helping out the team that week, and then he gets picked up by the waiver ad at the end of the episode. I wish they could just, toss people into the other shows for a second when they needed them and do some more...
And they can. It's a time travel show. I don't understand why they can't.
That's the thing. There could even be, a device where, Gideon could have a function where she's constantly searching for messages from the other heroes, and if they just write a message down and leave it somewhere, at specified places, Gideon finds it, and Ray shows up immediately because they can do that.
Yeah, I mean it's a scheduling issue in real life. You know that.
I know.
You know that. I know. It takes a lot of work.
It takes it's a climb up Mount Everest just to do the crossovers as is. So all ththis little things, this wouldn't be like an
But
every
to be
episode.
fair, there are always episodes of Legends, episodes of any of this, where you will see less of a person than you thought. You'll barely see them for an episode, and you'll be like, well, I wonder what happened to that character. He was only in a scene. They could just, make the storytelling a lot more concise. And they could do that not just with Legends, but with other shows as well. You could be like, where the hell is Thea? Well, she's been Speedy over here on Legends for 2 or 3 episodes. Right?
Yeah. Where's Felicity? There was some future tech they couldn't figure out, so she's working with Ray.
Anyway. Wendy Mericle, after being asked about Helix returning in Season 6 of Arrow, says, "It's a dangling thread, and we don't like to leave those hanging around. It would be great sort of built-in story for Felicity to revisit these people who are not very happy with her, let's be honest. We left that open-ended on purpose for sure." So there's that, and I'm interested to see what that brings about. Also, we've talked about it before on the show, but we had a fair amount of people ask, either through the DC on-screen official channels or by me personally, asking what happened to Vigilante and why they didn't wrap that up in Season 5 of Arrow. Mm-hmm. They did come out and say they were saving that specifically for Season 6 of Arrow.
Yeah, and
because they didn't have the time to really delve into everything they wanted to with Vigilante.
Yeah. They said they had a real clear, like, they know who he is, exactly who he is, and they didn't want to cheat him. They thought they had a lot of story there, but they were. I think they fell so much in love with Sagara that they were just like, no, we'll wrap this up later. We're gonna let Adrian Chase act.
Yeah, and I have no hate for that.
No, it was a great choice. He freaking killed it. Him and Oliver had some of the best antagonistic chemistry I've seen on television in a long time.
Absolutely. And you know what? Vigilante is just Elektra inside of the egg.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's for my Daredevil Season 2 Nigmas. What up, y'all? Yeah, I'm using Nigmas now. All the time.
I'll try to talk you out of that in due time.
Oh, Arrow Season 5 DVD and Blu-ray details have been released. It'll be released on September 19th. Bonus features include Arrow 2016, Comic-Con panel, the new Team Arrow, Allied, the Invasion Complex, Returning to the Roots of Arrow, Prometheus, deleted scenes and a gag reel. I am down for that. That will be on my shelf, as will all of these things, all of these Blu-rays that we talk about.
Sure. I imagine Arrow, as seriously as it takes itself, has pretty funny gag reels.
Probably. Yeah. So, for years, Rick Berman, the guy that was over Star Trek for years, wouldn't release gag reels because he didn't like them. He didn't like blooper reels. And then when they actually released some of them, they were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was just, oh my gosh. Like, Voyager gag reels are the best thing about Voyager.
Probably. You probably got through watching those and you should have cut that together as a comedy and called it a day.
Yeah. Over to Black Lightning. EP Salim Akil says of Black Lightning, it is a character-driven show. I don't know if there's going to be a fight every week. That's weird. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's certainly not going to be a villain of the week. Holy crap, really? I don't want to do that. We really want to explore the characters, even the villains. I think one of the most interesting characters right now, from a storytelling standpoint, is Tobias, because we're not having him sort of twist his mustache. His hatred for himself and for others comes from a real place, so we want to know why he's like that. That makes me more excited for this show than any of the trailer did. Like, just that makes me so excited for Black Lightning.
As soon as I read no monster of the week or no bad guy of the week or whatever we put it, I thought, oh, I like this ambitious guy.
Like, as soon as I read that, I said, I don't want this to be part of the Arrowverse.
This might end up transcending it somewhat.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, we have that to look forward to. Hopefully it pans out well.
It's ambitious. I mean, putting a show on CW where you don't have a fight every week is going to be a tough pull.
Which, by the way, that's phenomenal the way he mentioned that. And I guess I haven't updated since, for a couple of weeks, but I'm halfway through season 1 of Luke Cage right now, and I love it.
It's great.
It is the first episode really bored me, but that second episode grabbed me, and every episode afterward, I've been in love with.
Been great.
So
they take some.
It's kind of
hefty turns in the road on you.
It's jumped the shark a couple of times, but I didn't mind that shark being jumped. Like, whatever. Like, I was like, that's silly, a rocket launcher in Harlem, and then Misty Knight goes, a rocket launcher in Harlem? And I went, oh, okay. Lantern hung.
Yeah, they're aware. We're fine.
So, yeah. Anyway, Batman and Harley Quinn is apparently going Ultra HD. Whoa, guys. 4K? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a first for the DC Universe animated films. It will come out August 29th, and it will have a 4K Ultra HD option. Features on that, on all but the DVD version will include the Harley Effect featurette. Harley Quinn has a deep history with the fans of the DC Universe. This featurette traces her humble roots from her creators to those that portray her at comic book conventions. She is a symbol of strength and beloved by many. Lauren Lester, in his own voice, featurette. This documentary examines actor Lauren Lester's legacy within the Batman animated series, Dick Grayson's character, and the popularity that surrounds Lester's interpretation of the Boy Wonder. Well, as Selena said in Volume 4 of the animated series, more like Man Wonder. I say as a straight man. A sneak peek, that's telling. A sneak peek at the next DC Universe original movie, a behind-the-scenes look at the next entry in the popular series of DC Universe original movies featuring thoughts from the talented filmmakers and voice cast. And from the DC Vault, Batman the Animated Series, Harley and Ivy, and Harley's Holiday. Because why the hell wouldn't you put episodes of Batman the Animated Series that tie into this movie? That just makes me so excited for this movie, even if I'm not, like, completely, like, 100% on board. Melissa Rauch's version of this character, of Harley.
I mean,
I'm just happy to see more animated series.
It's good.
Yeah. Actually, Jeff Myers from the Entertainment Roundtable, they released an episode the other day, and he was saying, "Why isn't Arlene Sorkin?" I'm like, dude, she retired.
Yeah.
When I heard her on Fat Man and Batman, her voice was stripped, and I don't know if that got better or what, but she retired from the role, so
yeah,
for whatever reason.
And you probably just at some point start taking roles that hurt your voice a little less.
Yeah. So, Sci-Fi's Krypton is set to begin pre-production this month and begin filming during late summer with a 2017 release date currently on the docket. That will be kind of tight, so we'll see. Also, some new production studios in Belfast, Ireland seem to have won the contract for the filming location. So we have a DC show that's not being filmed in Vancouver, which is weird.
Well, I mean, Lucifer's not anymore. They went back to LA.
They did, actually. You're right.
But everything else.
I very, very barely consider them a DC show.
I know. It's a spinoff kind of deal, but...
Yeah. Which, may make the difference in future decisions for this show. Yeah. But anyway.
We have some choices to make over the summer.
Anyway. We have a Teen Titans filming date and location. This is happening fast. I'm excited and a little afraid. Teen Titans is going to begin filming September 25th in Atlanta. Again, another not Vancouver.
Spreading the net.
Spreading that net, boy. Spreading the net.
Ooh,
still no casting.
That's a good point, Charles. If you're listening, I know you're on that extras roster.
Mm-hmm. Charles McFall, epic boss of the giant-sized team-up network of which we are a part.
There'll be an epic extra.
Lives in the Atlanta area. Mm-hmm. So
I think he's gone through the proper paperwork to be an extra on when the time comes.
Yeah, that man lives in paperwork, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Sad news. I saw this and I was just way too sad. Alan Burnett has retired, the legendary producer of DuckTales, Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Static Shock, Batman Beyond, among many other beloved on- and off-screen properties, is retiring after 33 years in the business. He worked on the upcoming Batman and Harley Quinn, and WB says there are several more projects in the pipeline with his name on them, so we'll probably get Alan Burnett stuff for a couple more years to come at least.
Yeah.
But less things with Alan Burnett involved. There's no way to make that a positive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's been the one holdout on Fat Man on Batman that I am really eager for.
Well, they killed him. You remember there was a bit on Fat Man and Batman where they inadvertently they were talking about Alan Burnett.
Oh yeah, they thought he passed away, and they're like,
well, no, one of them said like Alan Burnett, God rest his soul, and the other one started laughing, going like, he's not dead.
He's like. Kevin Smith did an interview with just about everyone you could think of from BTAS. Yeah. And he's like the one that was really influential on that series that
just hasn't gotten around to
made
it
on the show for whatever
reason.
Just, I don't know.
I haven't heard any in full disclosure, I have not kept up with Fat Man on Batman.
No, I specifically go back and check every few months and scroll down to see. Yeah. I mean, it's been actually it's probably about time, but
yeah, I don't keep up with that show because they've moved over into talking about a whole bunch of other things that I can't.
An all around news show.
Well, I do this show now, so I don't have time to watch all the things that I want to one day watch, and they talk about everything. Yeah.
I mean, like, I got to see 2 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this year before I couldn't keep up anymore. Yeah. I still want to see what happened.
But, which, by the way, 2 days. You have 2 days before that shows up on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah. But and I'll be honest, I enjoy Kevin Smith. I like the Fat Man on Batman before it became everything.
Yeah, I was a big fan of just the interview format version of that show. It was very. Yeah. It was. God, it was.
I enjoy
engaging.
Mark Bernardin. He's fun. He's interesting, but I really like the original format of that show, and I just haven't been able to keep up. So I'm sorry, Kevin Smith. We'll be on the show if you want.
Sure, I'll come explain myself any day.
Yeah, whatever. We have some feedback, and I feel bad about this because there was some feedback for the Gotham, like on our Gotham finale review. I was like, nobody really ever gives us feedback on Gotham, and then as after we had recorded, we got like 3 pieces of feedback, or 2 pieces of feedback, and 1 that we forgot about. Yeah. So we're crap. Whatever. Randall Smith says the season finale gives me the impression that season 5 is going to be the end of Gotham. If that's true, I wish we could see David Mazouz, Sean Pertwee, Robin Lord Taylor, Cameron Bicondova, Cameron Monaghan, and Corey Smith carry on with their characters on television or in the movies. Whatever problems the show had, these people always did their best. I appreciate that viewpoint, but I don't want to see them in movies unless it is a Crisis on Infinite Earths situation.
My only problem with it would be that that would be too much. That's too many people. It's too many characters to really get I think a good thick plot out of.
Yeah. Now, if in a few years we see David Mazouz as Batman, standing next to like Michael Keaton and Christian Bale and Ben Affleck and like a bunch of other Batman, that would just biologically my heart cannot come.
It can stop,
but that's
maybe what would happen anyway.
That would be the closest you would ever see to that. And if they just do like a little CGI Adam West, I'd be the most happy ever in the world.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure you could pull some frames and digitize them.
I understand this syndrome that you have, Randall, and not to say that you have a disease of any sort, but I understand it because I felt the same way after Smallville. I'm like, I don't want a Superman movie without Tom Welling.
Yeah.
And I was wrong, Randall.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
And don't get me wrong, I still wish there'd be like a reunion movie.
Again, Crisis on Infinite Earths. I want to see Tom Welling, Superman, standing there next to Henry Cavill. I want to see all that. Like, I want to see Dean Cain. Okay, I don't. But just shuffle him aside.
Way to get all that into a property. It's just no way to fit all that in.
There absolutely is.
Yeah,
you
not
do like Brave and the Bold. You
cannot do that in 140 pages. You just can't.
Jason.
What?
We have both seen Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
He has a whole team of Batman come through, and there were Batman for Batman animated series.
Yeah,
Batman
but you're talking
Beyond.
about several shows. Or several shows worth of characters.
They had several shows worth of characters come through that portal for just like 2 seconds, and that was the happiest I've ever been in my life.
It's just been downhill from there.
It has just been downhill from there.
Yeah, it'd have to be a one shot or something like that. But to the previous point,
scene.
though,
I want one scene with every Batman working on a problem together. That's all I want.
Yeah,
we've seen these movies. I want to see Keaton. I want to see Kilmer. I want to see Clooney, even with Bale and Affleck and CGI Adam West and David Mazouz, and they're all working on a problem. And maybe like a shot of a couple of Alfreds looking at each other like, yeah, you did all right too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm greedy. That's what I want.
I know. I don't sense yet that season 5 is the end. It does tie into you have Scott's thing.
Yes, I do have Scott's thing. Scott from the Suicide Squad cast sent us a thing we should have talked about on the recap show. He says something to discuss on your final recap and review for Gotham this season, which we promised we would do and we didn't because we were stupid.
Yep. I mean, I told him like, man, I got that notes, I'm ready to go, and then I couldn't read the note. That was, you remember when I told you on the like at some point I was like, man, I literally can't understand some of the stuff that I put on this page. That was one of the things.
I remember. All right, well. Write better.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, Scott says, did this finale feel like a series finale in some ways? Do you think the showrunners felt they might get canceled and wanted to wrap up some stories and get characters heading toward their eventual paths? Just a topic for discussion. Also glad to see my Solomon Grundy call turned out to be partially right, even if I had the wrong character originally. Scott, absolutely. To me, I felt like this show, because they waited a little bit before they renewed it, and they would have had to have already come up with this story before that renewal came through. I think absolutely this episode seemed like a series finale, if it had to be. And
I mean, I honestly think you could keep every piece of footage during the Lee Dear John letter and rewrite that letter slightly differently, and it would have been a complete finale. But as she put it, it was Gotham needs somebody, and it's you or whatever. But she left it in an ongoing fashion, and you could have changed just a couple of lines. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's just a couple of lines that are different somewhere in a record bay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. I think that it absolutely could be a series finale, but they've done a really good job of making a series finale a few times this season. At the very least, the the mid-season finale could have been a great finale for the show.
Yeah. We were saying like that conversation that Alfred and Bruce have where they go start their train. Like they have a conversation about, all right, rule 1, we don't kill, and then they get up and start training. Like that could have been. Yeah. If the show had been canceled right then, I'd have been like, well, there's some loose ends, but that story got wrapped up pretty well.
Yeah. So much so though that like this finale almost feels to me like I don't want another season because it's so close to a series finale.
It definitely did feel like that, but same time, I do think they knew a little earlier than it would seem that they weren't getting canceled. They just thought they had a really good ending, and I don't think they're completely sure what they're doing with season 5 yet.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they have some ideas, and I think the pre-production's already started for them, so they're in there, but I don't know if they have that whole thing fleshed out yet.
Yeah. So Steven Chipperson, Dr. Steve, as he's known on the interwebs, says to us, I can explain the different pronunciations of Ra's al Ghul if you like, is Arabic. The Raish pronunciation, administrative, head of the demon, i.e. leader. The Raz pronunciation means physical, head of the demon, i.e. the demon's actual head. So they're both correct and cool. I liked your response to him on Facebook. We're suckers for what Neil Adams and those cats over in the 70s who created the character said. And more so than that, we're suckers for Batman the Animated Series, which
I'm kind
said
of I'm a big fan of artists. Like anything being interpreted after the fact is one thing, but if I paint a painting and put it on the wall to display, and the thing I write under it says King, and that's in parentheses, that's the title of the painting. But I tell you the name of the painting is Queen. So help me, I'll pronounce King Queen because that's what the artist said that created it. Like, yeah. I'm that into that being that, I guess, proprietarily, that's how it should go down. But after that, and you can interpret it however you like, it's no longer yours.
Well, and for me, though, and I agree with that as well, but for me also, the Batman the Animated Series is, in the DC Comics respects, the Bible. Yeah. Like, it did almost everything, if not everything, better than the original source material.
Right.
And so much so that the source material changed to accommodate it.
Yeah.
It's better than every movie that's ever come afterward. Every subsequent spinoff. And it said Raish.
Yeah.
So, that's what I go by.
Mm-hmm. And Neil Adams said so. But I do like, I've never heard the difference.
To be fair, though, Neil Adams says a lot of bullshit.
He does. For all I know,
says
he's
a lot.
Pronouncing it differently than he did back in the day. But I did like, I've never actually heard the difference in Arabic in the two interpretations of it, how you pronounce it. That was really cool. But I got to admit, I do still favor Raish, even in that, as leader rather than physical form.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Raish all around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we have a voicemail from John, who has a crossover idea. Mm-hmm. And let's go ahead and get to that, I suppose.
Hey, this is DC on screen. This is John, long-time caller, first-time listener. Just wanted to let you guys in on my theory about an awesome crossover for all the CW shows. I'll try to make this quick. So we start off with Rain, a.k.a. Supergirl's version of Doomsday on Supergirl. She tries to fight her, loses, goes to Earth-1, gets Wally West and Arrow to come help her on Earth, whatever. They defeat her, she comes back, Rain's about to kill Supergirl, so Alex uses a device that Tisco gave them and sends Rain to Earth-1. So now we all gotta go to Earth-1. All the speedsters are fighting her on the Flash, and by the speedsters killing her, she becomes a speedster herself, starts running really fast. So she runs so fast, she breaks the time barrier, and now she's going through time, messing stuff up. So Legends got to come, pick up everyone, and start jumping through time after her. Then Legends decide we got to end this once and for all. So when they shift over to Arrow, they decide to bring her to Leanne Yu because, hey, that island's already blown up, can't really do much after that. So they get her there, they fight, they decide we really need Barry. So use the Speed Force bazooka to pull Barry out of the Speed Force prison. He comes and they fight for a while and decide, well, we can't really kill her. Well, maybe we could just put her in the Speed Force prison. So that's what they end up doing, putting her in the Speed Force prison. Now you have Barry outside of the Speed Force. Everyone's happy and go lucky. And that's the end of the 4-part crossover. So that's my ideas. And the last thing is D's nuts.
All right, John. D's nuts aside, thank you for the voicemail. I never know what to do with D's nuts.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I have a friend who says that all the time. Named Byron. That's the guy that shits a lot on his day off. Mm. You'll remember that.
That was an unfortunate story.
That was a weird story. A story he now swears isn't true now that he knows it's been broadcast to thousands of people. He's like, please tell him I didn't mean that. I mean, that would be a good idea. Like, Byron, you're making things worse, buddy. But all right. So, Jason? What did you think of the crossover idea that John had?
There's nothing wrong with it. I could get behind it, but its biggest highlight is it would give Supergirl like a real episode. You know what I mean?
What, in the crossover?
Yeah,
in the crossover,
she'd have an actual.
We're getting that anyway.
We are going to get it, but well, they say
I would almost rather, like, it was not a bad idea. It's just it feels like an idea that they would do.
So you want an upgrade?
I want a little bit of an upgrade, and plus, I've become really attached to my Legionnaires idea with Mon-El for the crossover event.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that's true.
You know what? I'd take John's idea in a pinch. It was a fun idea. I thought it was interesting that he's a long-time caller but a first-time listener.
It's hard to manage, but
I don't even know how that happened.
No.
I think he might be an unsung, edited out version, a character from Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But thanks for the voicemail. I'd be interested to see. I think they'll keep Rain as a primary villain for Supergirl though, and do a bigger story for the crossover.
That would be the only real monkey in Monkey Wrench, I guess. In his plan is that she's supposed to be the season-long villain. The
only sabot in the cogs, as they say.
Yeah, the fly in the soup.
No one says that. Anyway, as a lot of you know, there's this video game out. It's a little video game called Injustice 2, featuring a few of the DC Comics heavy hitters, and our longtime listener, and now at this point, I would say longtime friend Christopher White has a review for Injustice 2, and well, I guess we're gonna play that right now.
Hey Dave, hey Jason, it's Chris. Just wanted to talk to you guys about Injustice 2. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. The gameplay is more of what you love from the first one. The fighting is a little bit faster, a little bit more fluid. They've added some other things like forward rolling, like, new ways to break away from air combos and juggling combos, stuff for like really hardcore fighting fans, but nothing that's really going to affect the enjoyment of a casual player like you or I. The gear is awesome in the game. You can completely customize the way any one of the characters look. If you get a really good piece of gear and you don't like the way it looks, you can actually change it to make it look like another piece of gear. Multiverse is a lot of fun. There's a bunch of little worlds on there where you can go fight like little self-contained stories and resolve them by the end of it. There's no cutscenes or anything, but it's a lot of fun and a really great way to earn gear. And then another way that you can level up characters that they have is an AI battle simulator where you can customize the behavior of your AI characters, make them fight the way you want to, and put it up against other people's AI fighters. And if your AI fighters win, then you get to win loot boxes, or in this case, mother boxes. There really isn't a lot I could say about this game negative, or anything negative. Like, I love it. I've been addicted to it. If you were a fan of the first game, if you're a DC fan at all and can get this game, there's absolutely no reason you should not get it. It is absolutely incredible. I've been playing it for 2 weeks, and although I just got Tekken 7 and Friday the 13th, Injustice is the game that I keep coming back to. It is absolutely amazing on every level. It looks good, it plays good, and I'm really happy with it. Thanks, guys.
All right. What say you, Jason?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to get it again after you talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to play this thing on.
I don't either, and that's the only obstacle. Otherwise, I would have dropped that money by now. But
I'll in other news, I don't have the time either because this podcast.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I need what little sleep I get at this point in my life. So.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, I have Injustice 2 on my phone, and apparently you can get the story mode out of it, which is primarily what I wanted, was the sequel to the story. And I could literally be playing this right now on mute if I really had the wherewithal to do two things at once. And it's just sitting there on my phone, and I haven't even gotten like 2 chapters in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what are you going to do? So, I don't know. I'll watch the story mode at some point on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm glad it sounds like it's a good game, though.
Yeah, it does sound phenomenal.
It
I like
doesn't
the
hurt
upgrades
anyone.
And the fluidity of the fighting sounds great.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt anyone for a thing to be this good. And, if it was more of an Arkham Origins situation, I'd be a little concerned. But
No, it apparently held up to its predecessor. There are times where I still wish I was in college, or I wish that I was just now in college.
Right?
Yeah. Because I definitely remember having free enough time to play video games.
Oh, man. I'd play the hell out of this thing.
Yeah.
Like, summers in college were the best times.
Oh, it's a great catch-up time for video games.
And, you know, I've been thinking about this a lot because they just released Tekken 7.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, my gosh. I was talking to a guy at work, this guy Tristan, and we're talking, you remember the side-scrolling missions that they, like the mode on Tekken, where you'd have to run through corridors and fight goons and stuff, and they would, like, fried chicken would pop up, and you could, like, run over and catch it, and, like, the voiceover guy would go, chicken.
No. I do not.
Well, I played the crap out of some Tekken, man. Me and Jeremy and Sean and all of our friends all of my friends back in college. You and I weren't even in the same town. Mm-mm. But oh my gosh, we had a lot of fun with Tekken 3 and 4. And I didn't even and it was funny is like me and Tristan had talked about I don't even know if Tekken even made more after Tekken 4. I remember there was like a Tekken tag team, and then like that week I was at Walmart with Bethany, and in the electronics section a big poster that said Tekken 7, and I had to like take a picture of it and send it to Tristan. I'm like, it still happens.
I never got that into. Me and my roommate had a copy. I've definitely lost like a few nights of sleep just to beat it, and then we kind of put it down.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, we did like constant battles with that, and what was that other stupid series? I don't remember. Something for the Xbox. The first Xbox I was never really into.
I mean, that's what we had, but we mostly just played Halo.
Yeah, I feel you. Like we played more fighting games. That's what we were into. Yeah. But I don't know. You and I played the hell out of the first Injustice for sure. Yeah. Just like lots of sleepless nights of trying to, get those all 3 stars. Yeah. to unlock more DLC.
To get more DLC, or like we beat everything else, so we wanted to beat the Star Labs and couldn't do it. And I ran into somebody once who like had beaten all the Star Labs and shrugged it off, and I was like, I tried to call his bullshit, and sure enough, he'd beaten them all, and just kind of was like, man, that was easy. Like, what was the problem? It's like, batarangs. I don't know what to do. I can't beat it, man.
The Kryptonite batarangs?
Yeah, the Kryptonite batarangs is where we stopped. We never got past that.
Yeah, those were tough.
They were tough.
I mean, I think we beat everything on like 1 or 2 stars, but I don't think we ever got 3 stars on everything.
No, after that, we just started skipping ahead to like the fun-looking levels. We gave up on trying to serially beat the thing.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I look back on those days with fondness. Arkham Knight, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Injustice days, where Jason and I would play video games until the sun came up.
Mm-hmm.
And after. Anyway.
And Mosey, well, most likely just fall asleep where we were for a couple hours.
Oh, no. I couldn't fall asleep in that recliner. I was afraid.
You'd nod and then realize you had to go to bed.
Yeah, that recliner had a spring, an untoward spring in the crotchal area.
Yeah.
That recliner, otherwise known as Cecil.
Yeah, that thing was, it was to be feared.
Yeah, that recliner, both your dog and your wife thought it was haunted.
Yeah, and I don't know. I keep trying to explain to them that I'm sure ghosts, even if they are there, have better things to haunt, but I couldn't get it across. So.
Well, it was my girlfriend's grandfather's.
Yeah.
So, Anyway. It's time to go, guys. It's time to go. And we'll be back next week with more stuff, more news, more fun. You can reach us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, DC On Screen. DCOnScreen.com for every episode. They're all free. All 406 episodes. And if you want to leave us a voicemail not unlike the voicemails you have heard on this show tonight or today, whenever you happen to be listening, you can call us at 205-259-6331 and just speak from the heart.
With your tongue?
No judgment. I'm not sure one could speak from the heart and say D's nuts at the same time, but apparently John did.
I mean,
and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Sounded passionate. And
I've never been quite
sincere.
so proud.
The earnestness of that D's nuts was, it out-earnested even Batman Begins. So, until next time, please, for the sake of the High Father, keep some DC on your screen.
Are you struggling to lose weight and keep it off? Tired of wasting time and money on starvation diets that lead to more frustration and stress? If there was a weight loss solution that could actually work for you, would you try it? Then head to Golo.com.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo.
I'm Amber. I've lost 128 pounds with Golo taking release.
If you're ready to take back control of your life, head to Golo.com now and see how Golo can work for you. That's GOLO.com.
My sleep is way better. My inflammation has gone way down. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight. That's what sent me down the path. I wanted to make sure and live for my kid.
I have literally tried everything. I was on the verge of getting gastric bypass surgery, and I saw the Golo commercial, and it was the last thing I tried because it worked.
Join over 2 million people who have found a better way to lose weight with Golo. Your healthier and happier life begins at Golo.com. That's GOLO.com. Again, GOLO.com.